going on, y'all? Um, this is gonna be my first video. Well, this obviously isn't my first video on this channel, but this is gonna be my first video where I talk about where I basically just have some basically just talking about anime and stuff and just giving my opinion about different anime topics and whatnot. Um, what I wanted to talk about in this video is something that a lot of people haven't really made a video about, and that's me talking about my opinion about Luffy's Gear 4th from One Piece. Now, don't get me wrong, I love One Piece. One Piece is one of my all-time favorite animes. One Piece has been, it's been a hell of a long journey, man, with One Piece, man. I've been watching One Piece since, like 2011, like late 2011. I've been watching One Piece for a long time now, and it don't even feel like it's been that long actually since I got into One Piece. But one thing that now for all intents and purposes, I do not think that One Piece is perfect. Now, I know One Piece has its flaws. I know, a lot of there's some things about One Piece that I really don't like, and in this video in particular, I'm going to give y'all my thoughts about Luffy's Gear 4th. Now, I know I'm probably going to get a lot of thumbs downs, and I know I'm going to get a lot of hate and a lot of dislikes for what I'm about to say, but I really don't like Luffy's Gear 4th. I don't like the way it looks. I don't like the design of it. I don't like, he's supposed to be called Balloon Man or something like that. I know I'm a little late with this video because Gear 4th Luffy has been revealed in the anime weeks ago. Like, I think it's been a month ago now. It's been about a month ago since Luffy since they showed Gear 4th Luffy when he fought against Doflamingo and Dressrosa. When he first fought against not when he first fought him, but when he first fought him in Gear 4th. The fight, the fight was okay. I'm not gonna say the fight was horrible. It was actually pretty interesting, but I just don't like Luffy's design. Like, I don't like the way he looks. Like, he just looked too. Now, I understand. Don't get me wrong. I understand that Ichiro Oda, the creator of One Piece, I understand that he was trying to be original with the design of Gear 4th. He didn't want it to look, like, I guess he didn't want it to look so, he didn't want to be unoriginal. Like, he didn't want him to look like Goku, or, he just didn't want him to look like a typical badass, overpowered character, I guess, which I was hoping for. I actually prefer the typical, shit. I actually prefer the typical badass, overpowered anime characters. I prefer that. I didn't really like I just didn't like the way Luffy, his appearance. Like, it just looked too silly for me. That maybe it's just me, man. I just didn't like it. I don't like Luffy's transformation. It just looked too silly for me. It just looked too. I understand Luffy. Luffy is supposed to be. He's not always supposed to be a serious character, but when it comes to like fighting and going against somebody like Doflamingo, and you go into a transformation where it just looked like he just looked like a joke to me. Like, Gear 4th just looks so, even Doflamingo, before they fought, even Doflamingo was laughing at his appearance, at his transformation. Even Doflamingo was laughing at him at first, but then when Luffy whooped his ass, that's when he realized that shit wasn't nothing to be that shit. He kind of underestimated Luffy at first, But once Luffy started kicking Doflamingo's ass, that's when he realized, shit got real. Shit was real. But still, I just didn't like Luffy's Gear 4. I really just did not like it at all. I didn't like it. I ain't like Gear 4 Luffy. I still don't. And, in the current episodes of One Piece, Luffy is actually tired after, his transformation of, going in Gear 4 when he was fighting against Doflamingo. He was going all out, and, eventually, because, it's a time limit to using Gear 4. You can't, when you in Gear 4, you can't use it. You can only use it for a certain amount of time. Because after a while, Luffy gets tired and he transforms back to his normal state, which has already happened. Now Luffy is exhausted and he's trying to recuperate so he can, I guess, go back to Gear 4 and keep on whipping Doflamingo's ass. But I don't know, man. I was expecting something a lot more epic when I first heard about Gear 4 Luffy. I was hoping that Luffy was going to look more badass, I don't know. I just didn't like his transformation. Now, don't get me, I actually prefer Gear 2nd. Now, Gear 2nd is way more badass. Like when Luffy fought Lucci, the episode when Luffy fought Lucci, Rob Lucci, and the what was that arc? What was that arc called? The Water. I think it was called Water 7 or something like that. And that arc when Luffy fought against Rob Lucci and he went Gear 2nd. Oh my fucking god! That fight was fucking amazing. That fight was way better than Luffy versus Doflamingo. And then Luffy did the jet Gatling gun for the very first time. Yo, now that fight was fucking serious. That fight was epic. That fight between Luffy and Doflamingo, I won't say it was bad, but it wasn't amazing. It wasn't as good as everybody, people like to hype shit up, and it wasn't even as epic as everybody say it was. I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate and a lot of thumbs down from people when about this video, but I really don't care, man. It's my video. It's my opinion. This is what I think. People don't like it, then hey, I don't know what to tell you. But that's just how I feel. I really feel like Gear 4 Luffy just was whack. I just didn't like it. I really didn't. Like I said, I prefer Gear. I don't even like Gear 3rd. I don't like it when Luffy inflates his body and he look all fat. Like Gear 4th. I didn't like that. He just looked all fat. He looked fat and muscular at the same time. That's pretty much what Gear 4th is. It's like his body is inflated with like muscle, pretty much. But I don't like that. I don't like how Luffy is all big and he just looks like a balloon. I don't like that. And then he bouncing everywhere. I don't. It just seemed too silly for me. It just didn't. It didn't match like Gear 4th. The way it looked it just didn't it didn't match the tone of the seriousness of the fight, if I'm making any sense at all, if that makes any sense. Like it just didn't match the tone of the seriousness of the fight. Like when Luffy goes Gear 2nd, of course, obviously Gear 2nd isn't good enough for to beat Doflamingo, because Luffy did everything. Luffy was going Gear 2nd and he still got his ass beat by Doflamingo. So that shit didn't work. He went Gear 3rd. Gear 2nd is Gear 2nd is fast, but it ain't strong enough for Doflamingo. Gear 3rd is strong, but it ain't fast enough. Gear 4th is pretty much, he has strength and speed combined, which is pretty awesome. But at the same time, it's like Gear 4th, the abilities are pretty cool. They're pretty. I like the abilities of Gear 4th, but I just don't like. I don't like the appearance. That's the only thing I don't like about Gear 4 is the appearance. I don't like that. The appearance of Gear 4, I do not like it at all. I'm sorry, that's just me. I just don't like it. So, yeah, you know, Gear 4 is just not. It's just not what it's not what I expected. It's not what I thought it was going to be. But I mean, at the end of the day, I still love One Piece. You know, like I said, One Piece is not perfect. You know, it has its flaws. I actually prefer in the Dressrosa arc. I actually prefer I think the best fight in the Dressrosa arc, in my opinion, one of the best fights was. I actually prefer Sabo versus Fujitora than Luffy versus Doflamingo. That's just me. I actually look, even though that fight was very short between Sabo and Fujitora, and they didn't really like they fought, but it's like they kind of like made a truce at the end. Like they didn't really battle to the death. They just fought, and then they kind of like decided that they just didn't want to fight anymore. You know, they just said they just wanted to call it a truce, pretty much. That fight was actually pretty dope. You know, I love Sabo. Sabo is my homeboy, man. You know, Sabo is just, he is awesome. You know, and when you know Sabo about to go in, you know shit about to get serious. You know shit about to get serious when Sabo go in. You know shit about to get real. But yeah, man, it's like I'm really hoping that Gear 5th will be way better than Gear 4th, and hopefully in the future of One Piece, if there ever is a Gear 5th, you know, I hope it looks way better than Gear 4th, man. I really do not like Gear 4th at all. I'm sorry. You know, like I said, I like Gear 2nd the most. Gear 2nd is the best. I don't like Gear 3rd or Gear 4th. I only like Gear 2nd. I'm sorry, that's just me. That's what I like. You know, like I said, the best fight in One Piece, hands down, Luffy versus Rob Lucci, period. No other fight has surpassed that fight thus far. You know, there have been good fights that came after that fight, but that fight was just number one on my list. Because that fight was just too fucking epic, man. It was the animation, the animation, man, you know, in that fight, Luffy almost got fucking killed by Lucci. You know, that was like the only villain that brought Luffy to the brink of death. No other villain has ever, well, except Crocodile. But yeah, man, that's just how I feel, man. That's how I feel about Gear 4th. But thank you all for watching. You know, if people didn't agree with what I was saying in the video, then hey, it is what it is. That's just my opinion. You know, you're entitled to your own opinion. You know, so that's just how I feel about it. But that's pretty much it, y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed. Peace. Stay tuned for more videos.